You're listening to the Sex, Drugs, and Jesus podcast, where we discuss whatever the fuck we want to. And yes, we can put sex and drugs and Jesus all in the same bed and still be all right at the end of the day. My name is DeVannon, and I'll be interviewing guests from every corner of this world as we dig into topics that are too risque for the morning show, as we strive to help you understand what's really going on in your life. There is nothing off the table, and we've got a lot to talk about, so let's dive right into this episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sex, Drugs, and Jesus podcast. I'm your host, DeVannon, and I love you all, and I am so filled with just love and joy and peace and such happiness, and I'm excited to share what I have with you all on today. And so I was having a thought come to my mind, or try to get into my energy or into my spirit somehow. And I realized that, it wasn't my own. So I'm going to talk to you all today about energies that get into your presence that are not your own, and how to detach from the things of this world. I'll put it to in its most simple terms like that. The website is sexdrugsandjesus.com, also down under apparel.com. YouTube channel, Sex, Drugs, and Jesus podcast also. Now, over in Luke chapter 17, it says, "And it came to pass, as he went to Jerusalem," talking about the Lord, "that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off. And they lifted up their voices and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priest. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back and with a loud voice glorified God, and fell down at his feet, giving him thanks. And he was a Samaritan. And Jesus answering said, Were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? They are not found that returned to give glory to God, save this stranger. And he said unto him, Arise, go thy way, thy faith has made thee whole." What we have happening here is Jesus not getting in his ego over the fact that he helped 10 people out, but only one of them turned around to say thank you and to show proper gratitude. Okay. This was the most unlikely person, because really the Jews didn't fuck with Samaria or vice versa, because the Jews had a low opinion of Samaritans. And the most unexpected person was the one who was the most thankful. That's a whole other lesson right there. But what I'm happy about, what this shows us, is about there's going to be in this life, y'all, and I'm talking to my earth angels, to my female energetic people. Hey, anybody can take the lesson. So, if you're not the female energetic type and you want wisdom, hey, it's here for you too. But, being one of the girls, that's where my mind be directed at most of the time. There's going to be times that we do shit for people and we help them and things like that. And the gratitude isn't there. Okay. We got to take a lesson from this masterclass from the book of Jesus right here. Okay. From the pages of his life, to get over ourselves. I talked about this to some extent in other episodes. The great task and challenge of this life is not so much to get money, to get success, as most people would define it, not to date a bunch of people, and for God's sakes, not to do up sleeping around. The real task of this life is to control yourself, to learn self-control, and to fulfill your divine mission. If you're not concerned about those things, then you're wasting your fucking life. So getting control of yourself and sorting out why you're put on this earth, and then going about the business of doing that. Okay. It is not to raise children, to get money, and to just go and experience joy. Is God put you here for a purpose? Or what is that purpose? If you can't answer that question, you need to be about the business of finding out, because you don't have forever. Time is ticking. So Jesus didn't whine. He didn't complain. He didn't say, how dare they not come back and tell me thank you? Do they know who I am? Jesus, having all power, was totally fucking over himself. But one of the great tenets of true power is the complete abandonment from yourself. Through everything that's happened to me this year, I have become like a master of detachment. I used to not be the sort of person who liked to say goodbye to people or to like if I moved from a place or whatever when I was in the military, I funerals, all of that. I used to just hate death and I used to hate to say goodbye. Now I'm totally okay with all of it. But it came through like the trials and tribulations, which I am so thankful for the lessons learned. The thought that tried to come into my head is an old thought concerning the old house that I used to hang out with the most recent ex in. We're gonna go into the X Files now. There's about 6 and 7 of them boys in there. We learn from their lessons. We don't hold resentment. We always forgive, but we never forget. Least we fall into the same thing again. So no bitterness, no resentment. Y'all know I'm over all that, but we gonna learn. Like I say, Jesus couldn't save Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed him, wearing a mask and being two-faced, but we can learn from Judas. But there was no hope of redemption for Judas because he was just two-faced and it is not a truth teller. But we can learn from him. You got to get to a point where you can examine what happened in your life objectively and not have really an opinion about it one way or the other than just it happened. The sky is blue, water is wet, clouds are in the sky, and the dirt is brown. So this happened. There's no feeling or emotion attached to that. Just this is what happened. Let's analyze it. Let's learn. Let's grow together. The end. You know, so a thought would come about like this about the house that the ex had. And I said, this is strange. This is how people's energies can get mixed up into your own. Okay. If you have a thought about some shit and you haven't thought about it for a while, it might not just be like your natural thinking. Somebody could be trying to insert fear and worry and concern into you. And ultimately, who we're talking about is Lucifer. Because the darkest people, evil people who like to work with dark energies and do evil things to people are nothing more than tools for the devil, just tools for Lucifer. That's it. Because we don't wrestle, as the Bible says, against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places. People who do these things are just portals for the devil. So it doesn't really matter who did what. The fact of the matter is you're fighting against evil and against malevolent forces that genuinely do not want you to succeed. Oh, the fuck well, because this is not going to go that way. We're going to have power and we're going to rise up and be victorious. Period. It is done. And so when you have those thoughts that come back, you're like, fuck, I haven't thought about that in forever. What the devil is trying to do is snatch you down by way of distracting you from your life's purpose, trying to get you to mind these low level, basic bitch ass things that basic bitches tend to. Okay. Your purpose is to sort out your salvation, to work your calling, and to help people in this earth. Okay. In some type of damn way, be it more or less directly, indirectly, anything else cometh of evil. See, the devil knows that this world is passing and everything in it is going to point up at the end when there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, and none of this is going to be here. The devil cannot be redeemed. So it is beneficial to him to distract us with bullshit until the time runs out. So this thought comes into my head. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't, even in the days where I didn't like to say goodbye to people, I was never attached to worldly things. I like nice shit. I spoil the fuck out of myself as I should. Okay. Come on, queens. Y'all understand. But see, I could enjoy a thing, but not assess more value to the thing than the thing warrants. Sure, I like my car and different things, but I'd give that thing away to somebody else if the Lord told me to, and I wouldn't give a fuck about it because I can't take none of this with me. I'm not attached to things. That's why I'm very generous with people. I go on Facebook, Marketplace and give shit away. I've been cleaning all kinds of shit out of this house. Girl, just banishing the darkness. Okay, just getting rid of every fucking thing. I'm not attached to things in this world. So I said, why on earth would thoughts of that boy's house be coming into my mind? And I had to come to a point this year where I had to stop fighting everything that God was letting get through to me. I saw things in my dreams about, certain people and the things that they were doing and the way it was happening. And I was like, God, why are you letting this get through to me? You control all things. It doesn't matter what somebody wants to happen. Only you can let it happen. So I had to stop fighting and go, okay, this is presented before me. Let me submit to what God is trying to do here and open my mind sit down on the floor and get quiet somewhere. What is the lesson here? What is the lesson? Why is this energy getting through to me? What can I gain from it? Me in the position that I am being the teacher, I could alchemize this. I know the right word is alchemize. It just falls flat to me. I really like alchematize. I think Merriam-Webster, whoever the fuck came up with the word alchemize, is full of shit. It should have been alchematize. It needs that fucking T at the end of it to really is more impactful. But at any rate, so I said, let me change this. Let me convert this, what the devil is trying to do, into a lesson and teach and use this to teach and heal and strengthen somebody motherfucking else. So that's what I decided to do when this thought came to me today. I was like, I don't give a damn about that house. You know, let me turn it into a lesson because this is somebody else trying to put their energy upon me. People can do this subconsciously. They can go hire the little witches or whatever to try to cast confusion and fear and doubt upon you. It can be done subconsciously without them really realizing it and all and everything in between. But the point, my children, is you got to get to a point where you know yourself and your own energy and who you are and your thoughts well enough to know when you have something foreign and alien in your presence that shouldn't be there. Like Evangelist Nelson would always say, if something comes around her, she wants to know what it is and what it won't. Okay. But she knew herself and her own spirit and the energies of the people in her house enough to know when something was not supposed to be there. You know, spirits are wandering and things like that, looking for a place to go, but we don't have to accept anything that comes to us. And so, I became aware of this and I said, oh, okay, this is not my thought. Another way that I can tell you this is since I've discarded so many male energies this year, these were not necessarily people I have had slept with. Some of these were just like friends and things like that. I went through my iPhone the other day, just say for instance, and deleted so many motherfucking people. Okay. I'm getting on that damn Facebook bitch next and get to deleting that there's some letters in my phone that don't have any fucking names left under them. Bitch, I have been cleaning motherfucking his house and I'm not done yet. The bitches have got to go. And then the more I do it, the happier I get, the lighter my spirit gets when I cast all this shit away. I threw everything out of my house that bears any sort of attachment to people from the past, every fucking thing. I didn't care how much it cost. I didn't care how much it was paid for, who bought it or what. It all fucking had to go. Because you never know where people's energy is not lurking and how they might be trying to use that to attach to you. The bitch is all gone. And but sometimes I would get a song in my head, like maybe say that Elliot Yamin song, Wait for You, or that if you're hearing this song, songs about males who done fucked some shit up with a girl and now they somewhere crying about the shit. So, like I said, not every dude that I departed from this year was a former love interest, but some of them were just friends. But the point is, me and my divine feminine should not be thinking about some masculine who done fucked it up with a divine feminine. That was them missing my presence and their energy attached to me somehow. And it appeared, it manifested through a song that I would not have ordinarily just picked up to play. Now, had I just gone with that, I would just, well, okay, that's a catchy song in my head. But I said, no, this song bears a different type of meaning here. And I said, I haven't done nothing wrong to these people. So what the fuck would I be sitting here singing a song about a masculine missing a feminine because of some dumb shit he did or didn't do? I said, okay. I said, this is not my own energy. So we got to get rid of this shit. Because then what'll happen is the devil will sit there and make you be sad and lower your energy because somebody else's energy is lower. And this is the devil through these low vibration people. So I want y'all to become aware. Is that really your thought? Is that really your energy? Is that really your feeling? I've taught this in a different way by warning you about not letting celebrities' voices get in your head and social media and your parents to be sure the voices in your head are your own. I'm taking it further by letting you know that people can maliciously, through dark arts, they can use black magic to do this to you too, and try to get up in your energy and shit. You shouldn't have people setting up in your dreams and it feel like they just are not supposed to be there. Okay. And so what the devil's tried to do is, make me feel like bad about this. What the devil knows about me is that I don't hold attachment to things, but I love the value of things, not the financial value, like what it was supposed to mean. Like, it's not about house. It's about the fact that there was a time in my life that I figured that I would always be there, or there were going to be memories there, or I had plans for the future for that house, and there were memories made there. Everything in that house, bears my inspiration from it existing. Because it was I that encouraged the boy to get the house in the first place. The rocks in the backyard, inspiration from the rocks in my own backyard. The grill, inspiration from the grill that I have. The updated washer and dryer, inspiration from my own. I mean, from the top to the bottom, okay, my inspiration is there. I pulled my energy back from all of those things. So there's no more of me there because, see, I'm not attached to things. So not even an ounce of my spirit remains in that place. So what the devil tried to do was to get me into a bitter space, very egotistical too, subtly egotistical, of saying, how could he have used these things to make memories with somebody else? Is what the devil was trying to get me sad about. Who the fuck cares? It was my parents who went through that house and fixed shit and set doors up. That boy never invited them over for dinner, never really thanked them in any kind of meaningful way. He was not one of the ones who went back and said, "Thank you." My parents not worried about that. Okay? Not worried about it. See, what Jesus has showed us what we have to do. When you do right by people and they fuck you over, and then they go run off and took the good they should have given you and give it to some basic bitches over there, don't worry about it. That's what Jesus did. He healed 10 people. 9 of them didn't do right. The other one did. And Jesus, he said something about it. He just said, "What the fuck they at?" Okay. And he focused on the person in front of him because that's all any of us can do. We cannot be worried about where the other 9 at and what they doing and who and what. All that would have been a distraction. Jesus didn't go chase them down. He didn't go hunt for them and be like, "Bitch, do you know who I am?" He didn't do that. He just let it fucking go. And my heart goes out to people. I mean, the 4.5 years that I spent, I mean, what is that compared to, like, say, somebody who was married for 20 or 40 years, paid money to the house. I never even spent a dime on that damn townhouse that boy had. But there's people who invested money in a lot more years than I did, only to find out that boy, that little male that they were married to, had a secret life, and now it's all over. And now she's somewhere knowing that, I mean, the house that she may have retired out of now got some foolish woman or whatever in there. That's hard to deal with, but you must deal with it. And I want you to look at it as a gift. It is a gift that God has presented to you. Remember, everything happens for us, not to us. Everything happens for us, my children, not to us. So you say, "DeVannon, how in the fuck can it be a good thing for me to know that the male that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with is laid up in the bed we used to be laid up in with somebody else in the house that I used to be in?" Because in this life, you must master yourself. You have to get a control of yourself. You must. Other than that, you have nothing. And so your ego is going to have to be tested. You know, something uncomfortable has to come about in order to bring that up out of your shadow. Okay. Or for you to become aware of it and to turn to it and face it. Okay. Without judging yourself, just own up to it. Like, yeah, I had those plans and I feel these feelings, and don't go and retaliate. And just once you can master how to let that go, like Jesus did, he did not retaliate, even though he did everything right and those 9 did everything wrong. Don't matter because this world is fading. The devil tried to tempt, when the devil was tempting Jesus, on his third temptation of him, he said, "Bow to me and I'll give you all the kingdoms of the world." And that's when Jesus had enough. He said, "Get thee behind me, Satan. For God, for it is written that, God is God and him only shalt thou serve," or something like that. The devil tried to get even the Son of God to to give up his integrity over material things that are passing. Weak-minded people will fall for and be a fool over things that are passing, like sex, dating, relationships, material gain. Weak ass broke people will lose every damn thing over those four things. But what Jesus said, it's like, I don't want that. Okay. I'd rather be here in the wilderness, in the desert, hanging out with John the Baptist, eating locusts and honey. Okay. Than to have all of those kingdoms and to lose my soul. Okay. He that has an ear, let him hear. Temporary things are not going to help us. So we got to get something that's going to be permanent. Okay. Which is integrity and discipline, self respect, and self love. But it's very, 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 very hard to watch this happens, but it's the gift and you gotta control yourself. You have to control yourself. And so meditation, a lot of prayer, counseling and different things like that can help you kill that ego. What God is doing is stirring up that ego through a problem so that you can master it. Because if everything was going your way and everything was all peace and strawberries and peaches and shit, that ego could be there creeping up on you. That's why people who have never really had a lot of problems and chaos in their life can have secret low key ego and pride and shit that they don't know is there. Okay. He that has an ear, let him hear. Problems can be are the best thing that happened to us, depending on how you want to look at it. You know, so what did I learn through this? That there was some low key ego lurking in my shadow that hadn't been dealt with. I consider myself to be a very humble person, confident as fuck, but also humble as fuck. And I would give my last to help somebody else because this world is fading and my honor and name before God and the high angels, the holy angels is all that I have. I'm concerned about what they think of me. I don't give a damn about what anybody on this plane of existence thinks of me. Y'all's opinions are irrelevant. Even the people who I love and consider myself to be close to, I still don't give a fuck what you think about me. Okay. I will accept your constructive criticism if you see me tripping. That I want. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. And so, and so, and I know in my conscious mind that I'm over myself, but still in my shadow, there was an itty bitty something still left going, trying to be that the devil was trying to play on. It's not about the house. It's not about what he did in the bed that we used to be in. It's not about that. It's about whether or not I can let it fucking go like Jesus did. The Lord let that energy get through to me for the sole purpose of testing my ego and to see if I'm humble enough for this next step of life that he is preparing me for. And I told the Lord, I don't give a damn about that house. I would say the same thing that the apostle told that dude from the Bible who was trying to buy, I think like healing with money or something like that. And the apostle told him, your money perish with you. Okay. Those of us who understand eternity are not worried about this. Okay. So whoever took whatever from you, tell them to keep the shit. Tell them take the house and the house perish with you. Tell them take the car and the car perish with you. Take the money and the money perish with you. Because we're not short-sighted queens. We understand the long game here of the Lord, and we not gonna get caught up in some low vibrational bullshit where the devil's trying to distract us from our divine destiny with shit that is attached to death and passing anyway. Let them people go. So I had to get a grip on my ego and just hold space for the fact that, okay, I had those plans. I wanted that to work out. Didn't happen. Yeah, he didn't do right by me and my parents. And, he took the blessings that we helped him get, you know, and went and took them out into the streets with God knows whoever and never went back and said thank you to us. And you know what we did? But the same thing that Jesus did and said, okay, there ain't nothing you can do. Too many times I come across people, too many more times than I would like to come across people who will not detach and let those resentments go. And it's what it really is it's secret ego that's lurking around. And it's a lot of pain in there too, but you gotta just let it go. What you'll find is you might struggle with that alien energy one day, then the next day you won't think of it at all. Like you can be like, it's been months, if not, weeks since I've thought of this. Where the fuck is this thought coming from? It's not yours. Plain and damn simple. It's somebody else trying to lower you down to their low, weak ass level. Yeah, these people are so low, so damn weak, so low vibration. They have no fucking life at all. They'll be sitting around worrying about what the children of light are doing out here about our father's business, changing the world, helping people and shit. seriously doing it, not in passing, not as an afterthought, investing a lot of time into other people, delaying our own satisfaction and gratification, being satisfied that we're doing the will of him that sent us. That is what we're doing. And them low vibrational ass people are somewhere worried about us. They're so dumb and they're so like fucking weak and they're so like putty in Lucifer's hands and they can't get out now because of the things they've done. It's too late. And so I wonder, like another part of it, I think is like a type of exposure therapy. You break up with somebody, it's natural to wonder, at least for some time, who they're with or what they're doing or if they're thinking about you. That's natural. That doesn't mean it has to stay that way. Eventually that shit should fade away as the detachment is broken and everything like that. So I wonder if the Lord letting those energies come through on some level is a form of exposure therapy. So exposure therapy is like when you intentionally expose yourself to the emotion of something that was traumatic. This is done in clinical settings. I believe hypnotherapists can do it too. But it's basically like you feel those feelings of being betrayed or cheated on, or running from that bomb in Afghanistan, or whatever the fuck the cause of the trauma was, and you just keep exposing yourself to it until you develop a tolerance for it. I'll say it like that, and you're able to like cope with it by constantly exposing yourself to it, rather than denying it and acting like it's not there. And so I wonder if letting that get through, was a type of exposure therapy for me. You know, not just that energy, but certain things that I've seen in my dreams. This year, it's like the Lord was showing me what was happening. The whole time. Anyway, with the person that I had to get away from, I did not ask God for these visions, and but there they were, and I had to learn. But it was like I think it was a type of exposure therapy. This is something you can ask for from certain therapists out there in your local community. You could also pray and meditate and quiet yourself. And depending on your emotional state, you might want to have a friend around. Okay, because you it's something that's really done in a guided way to put yourself back literally in a mental space of whatever it is that caused you this PTSD or whatever trauma. You might want to have like some sort of support system around, but exposure therapy is very effective because we face it and the only way out is through. Talk about setting your feelings, you're intentionally putting yourself in that space so you can get this healing on over with. Okay. But I think God granted me like a spiritual type of exposure therapy by letting these energies get in. He used it to strengthen me and to deliver me ultimately. I guess they thought they were trying to vex me, but all power is in God's hand. So I just looked at it and go, okay, okay, now I know this has happened. I know this was done here. I see that was done there. Okay. I have a scripture about that I'm going to close this up with. And it's going to be First Samuel chapter 2. And I'm going to be teaching spiritual classes coming up. I pretty much got all of that set up, and I'm just going to have them listed on my website. They'll be hosted over on Vimeo, and you can just go over there and buy them. They'll be like $3.99 for like an hour's worth of education each time, period. I had thought about doing them live, but I don't have the time for that. So I'm just going to like set these lessons there and put it there, and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But in First Samuel chapter 2, the chapter preceding this is basically Hannah, this woman named Hannah, who was married to a man named Elkanah, and there was this petty cunt named Penina who was throwing shade at her and trying to make her life a living hell. Because Penina was the other wife of Elkanah. She had children. The Lord had decided to shut up Hannah's womb. The Lord does everything for his own reasons. He does not have to tell us anything. Had he not shut up her womb, then we would not have this testimony to help us now. He may have let Hannah go through this just so that we could have an inspiring story to help us. So we never know why God's not putting us through anything. See, everything happens for us, and for other people too. Depends on how you want to look at it. Okay, let's raise our perspective, people. Let's be positive minded always. She couldn't have children. Back then in the nation of Israel, an embarrassment to a woman if she couldn't have children. Now her enemy, this other wife here of this man, yeah, they were in like a three-way relationship, which was common back then. She could have done anything in the world. She could have helped Hannah. She could have spoken positively to Hannah. She could have prayed for Hannah. She could have helped Hannah. But what did Penina decide to do? Be petty and be mean. Like the angel Gabriel told Daniel, the wicked will do wickedly. Period. He didn't even add anything to it. He was like, the wicked will do wickedly. The wicked will do wickedly. That's all they know how to do. so, so you parents out there who tried with your hard headed ass children, you partners out there who tried with that hard headed ass partner, some people just gonna do wrong. There's nothing that you can do. Fuck them. Let them people go and forgive yourself and get the fuck over it and get your healing and move on. Now, this woman had every option at her disposal. Okay. In the whole multiverse, she could have done any fucking thing. And this is why I don't suffer fools and I don't allow people to disrespect me. They're immediately dismissed without question, no fucking second chances. Is because it's a choice. Panana had a choice. This bitch chose to vex Hannah because she couldn't have kids. Panana, I think like somewhere between 4 or 5 kids, maybe if it gave the count. And she used the strength that she had to vex this woman who didn't have anything at all. And Hannah went and prayed a prayer, and the Lord turned her situation around. After the Lord turned her situation around is what I love about what Hannah had to say about it. And Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoiceth in the Lord. Mine horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over mine enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girded with strength. They that were full have hired themselves out for bread, and they that were hungry ceased. So that the barren hath borne 7, and she that hath many children is waxed feeble. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of the heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king and exalt the horn of his anointed. Basically, Hannah won a fight she wasn't trying to get in the first damn place. Hannah was over there minding her own fucking business. Here comes this bitch fucking with her. And the Lord ended up whipping the bitch's ass in the end. Okay. Our enemies will fall and stumble and lose at their own game and get their asses beat in a competition of their own making, when us light workers wasn't trying to fuck with them at all. We wanted peace, happiness, and joy, honesty, and everybody could have had what they wanted, and just everything could have been okay. But like Penina, you got some basic petty ass people out there that just gotta find a fight, and then they're gonna lose. Because if you live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword. Period. You had peace as a choice, but you wanted war. David said, I am for peace, and when I speak, I am for peace, but all they want is war. Like Gabriel said, the wicked will do wickedly. People who want to fight, there's gonna be wanting to fight. But when the Lord get tired of the motherfucking people, he's just gonna wipe them out of the way. Okay. So what is the lesson here? Clear your energy. The lessons will be coming forth. Take your baths, take your spiritual baths, you know, get out in nature, put salt There's other things you can add to your yard, but you put like salt, in your yard and around your property to help banish some of those energies. Do your spiritual mopping in your house and different cleanses and things like that to keep these people's energy out of your space. I love this though, again, because it challenges us to become more spiritually aware. It causes us that we have to have good spiritual hygiene. Our spiritual hygiene has to be on point when we have other people trying to get into our energy. Now, Penina, after Hannah had her come up, just had to go sit somewhere down and be fucking quiet because she was talking all that shit. And now the Lord made the last first and the first last. What Hannah was saying here is that everything slipped. And the one who was crying is now dancing and rejoicing. And the one who was dancing and rejoicing is now bitter and broken some damn where. That this is by their own hand, though. Penina chose this war and she lost. And she had problems where there didn't have to be problems because she's wicked and she did wickedly. So let us learn how to keep people out of our energy. But if they do get through, let's just with gratitude go, Lord, what is this here for? We've forgiven these people. We've let them all go. No, I hold no grudges against nobody. Everyone's forgiven. Goodbye. Done. We'll never talk again. I ain't mad. You did what you did. You will explain that to Christ, not to me, because I'm about my father's business over here doing me as I've been doing. Okay. Listening and shit. This is what you all must continue to do too. Why is this here? If it's coming back up, there's still a lesson you need to learn. And you don't have to go and engage with whoever was the cause of this pain to learn it either. Pray, let it come up, let it flow out of you and through you, and with gratitude, dismiss it and let it go. And then get down on your knees and pray. But we must detach. We have to detect that subtle ego. And when the Lord does something for you, I don't have to tell my earth angels this and my divine feminines, true divine feminines, you know, be thankful. You always got to be thankful. We always want to be that one that goes back and say thank you. We don't take shit and just run. People don't have to do anything for us. They don't have to give you a word of wisdom. They don't have to buy you a meal. They don't have to do anything. So somebody choosing to give you their energy or even the gift of their attention is a sacred thing because it's a choice and that choice defines them. Like Hannah said, by the Lord actions are weighed. You will be judged by your actions and what you choose to say and do or not do, period. So let us, my children, be thankful when people do things for us and when the Lord does something, let's be really in our gratitude about it. And when these problems come up, these bad dreams or there's dark energy or these songs or these thoughts that you can detect are not your own, let's not be angry about it. You know, that's what I had to stop doing and let's just calm ourselves and say, okay, Lord, I thank you for the lesson that you're about to teach me here. What can I learn here? Okay. I thank you for this lesson. Kill that ego inside of me, humble me, because this is not about me. Anything what I learned was anything positive that I was ever able to inspire somebody to do, whoever they've been since the time I was born, was God's divinity through me. I cannot say a thing to a person to make them go do anything. Only God can provide that spiritual spark that connects from my spirit to theirs that makes them want to get up and go change their life. So it's never been about me. You know, as they say in the Bible, in terms of soul winning, one apostle watered, another one planted, but only God gave the increase. You know, so that house that he got through my inspiration was really God inspiring him because God wants us to come up. That's God's house, it's not my house. And everything that's in it and around it that I inspired, that was God's inspiration. That was the divinity of Christ through me, inspiring somebody to do better for themselves and to make a difference. It is not me who was rejected. It was the Holy Ghost, the High Trinity that the ex rejected, you know. So we got to get perspective. My divine feminines out there, we were rejected on this physical form, but moreover, they rejected the divinity within us, which is Christ. And the Lord says in the scripture that inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these, okay, indeed you have done it unto me. God takes our pain personally, and God will fly down here and enter into judgment with the people who hurt us personally. Okay. Okay. No, I didn't say send an angel. I didn't say send Gabriel or Michael. I said God will come down here himself, okay, and reckon with these people. Okay. God is not above a personal appearance, honey. Okay, if you got that kind of faith, okay? There's a reason I'm sitting over here cooling and chilling, babe. I ain't got a damn thing to be worried about. But keep peace in your mind. Don't let anybody take your crown. This, what I'm talking about, is a subtle thing. This is when people are too cowardly to come up to your face and try to do shit. And so they're going to sit somewhere and try to send problems to you, because if somebody can break into your mind, then they can ultimately cause you to break yourself. See, that's how that works. But we're not going to let that happen, because I just taught you, and I will be teaching you about these foreign energies. People come to try to siphon energy from us, or try to pretend to be us, and all kinds of dumb shit with no creativity, low vibrational, no life having, no purpose having, or no caring to find out their purpose. Fuck it, no purpose having ass. And so it's hard for me to think that nobody has no purpose in this life but to sit around and be petty. But I am still learning, and that this might be, I mean, I guess what other use was Judas? I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. But this is much I do know. Detach from things. And once you let it go, God's gonna give you better, but you gotta let that go. It's like if God flew down here and said, if you let that person go in the house that they have, and whatever it is you help them do, and whoever the hoes they running around with, if you let that go, I will give you all of this. And he actually showed you all of that, none of us would hesitate, because we would have a different perspective. We go, oh, I get all of that. Peace, harmony, joy, mansions, vast riches. Okay, and which means that I can help more people. And it means for me to just go buy more shit for myself. You know, you'll be like, who? Wait, I don't even know what it was I was worried about. Yeah, we just gonna go over here. God wants to make sure that your intentions are right and that your integrity is in order. And for that next level, he's about to elevate you to. Leave all that low energy alone, because it is all perishing, and then none of that's going to be there at the end. All that we're going to have is our souls bared before God, with the books open, with everybody's works recorded in them, being spoken uh, out and open before all creation, because there are no secrets, and all that is done in the dark must come into the light. This is law, and it cannot be changed. And so the website is sexdrugsandjesus.com, also down under apparel.com. Stay tuned, my people. In the YouTube channel, Sex, Drugs, and Jesus Podcast. Stay tuned, my people, because it's only going to get gooder from here.